started a band about 2 years ago. I've always been songwriting since I was a kid, but I never really saw it as a way of making money until about a year and a half ago. So I was already starting with the band, and we were finding a way to make it work. One of the musicians was still going to school, so he used his school basement as a rehearsal space, and we got to work on songs that I've been writing for the past 5 or 6 years. And when I started feeling like maybe we could be lucrative was that after our gigs, we would have people come up to us and say, I've never heard music like this before. What do you call yourselves? Like, this was amazing. I felt something. This was great. And the fact that I got that reaction consistently, I said, wow, I think maybe we could have a wider audience than just, play an open mic once a month and that be it. So we got to work looking for a way to record ourselves. I signed up for this thing called Sonic Bids, which for bands is a great resource. It's basically your connection as an artist to the industry, whether it's promoters, events like festivals, things like conferences like this. So it's a great resource for musicians. And so what I want to talk about today will apply to not just musicians, obviously, but to all artists who are starting their business from scratch. And I am not an authority, but I hope that my journey has somehow can bring insight. I've had failures and successes, so hopefully anecdotes will help. In this piece of paper, I basically put down 10 things, 10 random things that I think will help kind of situate you. And I think one of my biggest problems is that I feel very unfocused mentally. Until I have it written down and I'm looking at it, I don't have clarity with anything that I want to do. I just get so easily overwhelmed with all these things I have to do. Like today, I have this and that and the other thing, and it just feels like this big blob in front of me, like this big impressionist painting that I can't quite understand. So I like making lists, and this is my list. I've broken it down to think like a business, make goals, think outside the box, speak up, be consistent, don't spam VIPs, support your fellow artists and your fans, give yourself time and room to grow as an artist, take care of yourself and be yourself. And this all sounds like bullshit common sense, but I thought I'd go through it from my perspective. I feel like ultimately these conferences are not about eureka moments necessarily, but not some, get-rich scheme, but of either validating what you're already doing, or maybe taking a critical eye to what you're doing and seeing how other people do it and maybe modifying that. So in terms of think like a business, when I decided that the band could probably make money off of it and be very successful, I struggled a lot with the fact that I'm an artist and I'm creating, and then I'm trying to put a value monetarily to that creation. And we once did a cover of a pop song and put it on the internet, hoping that Sony Records would take notice. And I had a connection in Sony who was monitoring this contest for who could do the best cover of this pop song. It was a god-awful pop song. And after we were done, even though we'd done a really great job bringing some originality to it, we're all just kind of looking at each other like, do we really want to do this? Did we really want to put our creative, talents toward this? And I think the ultimate question is, when do you put that business hat on? And for me personally, I don't let the business aspect of it enter until after I've created something. When I'm creating, to me, that whole process, that feeds me. That's a very personal, intimate thing that I don't fuck with. That is my space, that is what feeds me, and I'm not going to talk about monetary stuff when I'm doing that. It's when the album is finished, when the song has been produced, when it's a final product, that's when I start thinking about it in terms of marketing. And it's important to do that because you want your message, you want all the aspects of your commodity to be clear and concise and cohesive. If I presented my music and my branding in a way that was very different from how I'm expressing myself, I think I would be attracting the wrong people to my music, and it would be much harder to gain a fan base that way. So I try in everything that I do, what I wear, how I express myself, to be authentic, and also be in line with how I am as an artist when I'm on stage, kind of integrating all those things together. So thinking like a business is important. I don't think it's a detriment to you as an artist. I think it's, especially if you want to make a career out of it, it's what you're doing. And money management, I'm going to be making lots of mistakes, as if I don't speak English. It's okay, it's fine. I have a Romanian mother.
Great.
Money management is my biggest problem. The best way that I've gone about it is having an envelope that sits underneath a pile of papers that I forget about until I need money. And that envelope is for the band stuff only. I don't touch it for anything, not to make change. It is completely and utterly separate from my personal life. And that separation is important. And also writing down what you take it out for and why. And you basically have a journal of your expenses in and out. Again, it seems really simple and common sense, but the best way to be lucrative is to know what your losses are and kind of see where this money's going every month. Even casual things like, let's say we're going to Boston to play a show. Things like gas and how much you spend on food. Simple things that are kind of everyday life, personal things, but are attached to that event of going somewhere for a networking purpose or for an art purpose. Those things do add up, and understanding that you do need those things in order to survive that weekend, that has to go into your budgeting, business-wise. So I found that a lot of bands that are kind of in the same level as me, they tend to want to splurge all of their savings on this one-ditch effort to be famous. Like this one great music video, or this one great debut album, and I think that's not necessarily the best way to go about it. I feel like the successes that last are small, happy accidents, and even if your intention is not necessarily to, quote, make it, which is this very ethereal, abstract concept that I don't quite think I'll ever understand. Spending all your money on one project is going to hurt you as a person who is growing constantly. You need to spend, in my opinion, maybe 50% of your funds on who you are as an artist right now, and still have savings for who you're going to become as an artist. Constantly have to be saving. You have to have this kind of pool of money to invest in for future projects and unintended projects. All the time, we get bombarded with opportunities that we had no idea were going to come out, and it involves travel, it involves all these unintended costs, and having that pool of money there is really important. saving money for your business is really important. And I know that, especially as a small business, you do have to have a lot of capital going in and out. There are lots of things that you have to invest in and buy early on so that you can continue to do the things you need to do. But definitely work within your means. And working within your means you have to have a reserve. You always have to have some savings. So that's definitely one of the things I need to practice and not preach so much. Making goals. What I do is I make an email called My Master Plan for World Domination. And I make a 6-month goal, a 1-year goal, a 2-year goal, and a 5-year goal. And I can get ridiculous with my 5-year goal. My 5-year goal is basically, in a perfect world where I could have everything that I ever wanted creatively, what would that be? That's my 5-year goal. It's like shoot for the stars. I'm going to be an international starlet, and I'm going to be an actor, and a mogul, and a musician, and this, and that, and a lawyer, and a doctor, and blah, 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 blah. I put those last 2 things in there for my moment. So I start with the 6-month, and that's the realistic goal. That's what can you do in the next couple of weeks toward half of the year? What are these little steps? Who are the people that you've been meaning to email that you need to email? Who are the people that you need to get back in touch with? Oh, I really think that's a great connection. We need to touch bases again. Those are the really hands-on things that I put in my 6-month goal. Then in my 1-year goal, I'm thinking more about certain projects that need to finish up so that I can go on to that next question mark. So things need to be birthed. This debut album that our band just finished has been wanting to be birthed for 2 years now. We've started recording a 1.5 years ago, and it's just been, like pulling teeth getting, the recordings done, and finding someone to mix it, and finding someone to master, and finding an artist to do the cover art. And usually when I get frustrated with all these little steps, I end up wanting to do it myself. And that's actually been a plus, because now I'm learning Photoshop and InDesign. I'm learning how to do video editing. I'm learning how to do photography. I'm learning how to do all these crazy things that I said, well, maybe one day when I have the time and I have made it as an artist, I can devote my time to learning the cello and taking an art history class. It's kind of a way of actually putting my creative energy into something other than music, but that also supports the business, and it's been really fun. I do recommend trying to do certain things that you wouldn't necessarily do on your own. Try it out. You might surprise yourself that you have a natural talent at these things, and it saves you lots of money. Look at your friends, the way that they promote. Do marketing research of your successful friends and see what they're doing, what their image, what their branding's like, what feeds you, what makes you feel something, why you feel maybe jealous that they're doing so well. It might be their branding. It might be their way of saying that, of representing themselves and saying that they're successful, their image of themselves that you respond to. I find that putting out a positive image of, I'm doing great things, actually is convincing for a lot of other people. That's why I'm here. Think outside the box. I guess all I mean about that is being an artist is unoriginal. There are so many artists out here. But your specific human beingness outside of being an artist is really something that you could use as a means of promotion. I think sometimes it's a struggle of separating your business life and your personal life. And I found that being a very honest person and putting in my, things that I used to do as a kid, or being personal with the people that I'm interacting with, and talking about all the different kinds of things that I do, and interacting with my contacts and fans on that level actually helps. I think being creative about how you go about your promotion, you don't have to limit yourself to just your art. I think you can integrate certain other things that you do that you might think are unrelated and find a way to incorporate them. I know someone owns a bike store and he's also a visual artist, he's a painter. And one thing that he did is he started a fundraiser for a friend of his in his bike shop. And one of the things he did is offer to sell his art for the fundraiser. And so there are lots of ways that you can incorporate different parts of your life to combine them and actually make them into a business plan. Speak up. Basically, have business cards. Give them out. You bump into someone on the train, hey, you like music? I know it sounds a little brash, but I think the best way of gaining contacts is to just share your information with people, even on a casual basis. I think it's been very helpful for me. I do see results in that. Being consistent, being consistently professional with the way that you present your work. You might be presenting your work to your family, or I'm playing in a basement to 2 people tomorrow, but I'm still going to promote and create artwork for that event as if I were playing in Webster Hall Auditorium. And it's because I have faith in my work and I want to represent that consistently. And you'll have a great portfolio. This person really cares. This is a career for them. This is serious for them. And I think being consistent, forget about who you think your intended audience is for that specific project. It's always going to be the world, and it's always going to be visible to the business that you want to potentially sell to or have some kind of partnership with. So being consistent, I think, is important. And don't spam VIPs. This is something I've done, which is put people I've not even met but found their email address on the internet through contact me at Sony, and just put them in my general mailing list and start newslettering them up the wazoo. That's a bad idea. I think you want to create different groups of people and specialize who you give what to when. Be specific to and sensitive to the kind of relationship you have, whether it's kind of personal and kind of professional or a mixture of each. Just be sensitive to the connection you have with that person. Know that they're busy and they're probably going to be turned off by you consistently telling them that you picked your nose. Support small businesses. This is the biggest thing for me. I think I'm successful as an artist because I feel I have a strong community of fellow artists. And I wouldn't feel that way if I didn't go to their shows, talk about them and rave about them to my friends, and be the fan, be the consumer that I want to see in the world. If you want to be supported as an indie artist, you need to be supportive of them. Go to galleries. Be interested in what other things are being created. Collaborate. That's huge for me. And it's kind of a win-win situation because not only are you learning from them, but you also might be able to combine fans, combine resources. This has commonly been a way that I've been able to do things. Like our band did a music video a year ago, and we used the equipment of a fellow artist friend that I've been supporting and promoting on various social networking things. So you always find a way of having people care because you're involved in their lives. It's the difference between having just a random list of names and a real community is being active in it. Give yourself time and room to grow. I saw someone's Facebook status fellow band that I really respect their music. The guitarist is 24 years old, and he said, "Why haven't I made it yet?" And I thought about it, and I'm like, well, depends what you think about when you say the word "made it." I guess it's something that society is obsessed with, of a certain status or bank account number, the number of zeros you have for the decimal point. And I said it earlier this morning at the panelist conference that taking a step back and saying, forget about making money, forget about what I want to be as an artist, as a human being. In this lifetime, let's say we live once, how do I want to feel complete? And if you go back to that simple idea, that simple concept, and take away all the stresses of what you need to do tomorrow or how much money you need to make to pay the bills. If you go back to that thing that feeds you, that's kind of unnameable, you'll find authenticity in your voice. I think if I get too mixed up about making money, that I feel the pressure to give in to what I think is fashionable. And so retreating, I think, is important. Taking some time out, not being visible, doing something very hidden and private and that no one sees, where you can fuck up and no one needs to know, to be experimental in your own little cave, retreating, renewing your ideas about what you want to do and share with other people. Give yourself time to take a step back and maybe say, maybe I don't want to be doing this anymore. Or maybe I don't like this genre of music that I'm creating. Or maybe, the train of life that I've been going through, it's been going well, but maybe I don't want to do it anymore. Sometimes people are, really successful on this plane, but it's killing them inside because they don't actually want to do it anymore, and that's happened to me a couple of times. So it's good to just take a step back, maybe take a vacation somewhere, even in a closet in your house, and just reassess what turns you on. I did not mean it. Take care of yourself. I'm living a double life. During the day, I'm doing a job that I hate. During the nighttime, I'm gigging. And so that means I have to be alive and awake too many hours a day. And if I were to not feed myself properly, that would be an issue. I really feel like I should practice what I preach. I'm just going to go on to the next one. Be yourself! Ta-da! So it's been nice talking to you all. Yes, I have t-shirts on sale. Evolve and create is the theme of the day. It's a quote from one of my songs. And then you have this nice band logo on the back. And if you're not interested in the t-shirt, I have cards so that you can keep in touch with me and tell me all the wonderful things that you're doing artistically. Because that's one of my rules. You have to give out your cards. Everyone casually meet.
Do you have time for more questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm super interested in you saying to support your fans.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about that. I think that's really unusual. I don't think I've ever heard a music artist.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to talk about Facebook a lot because that's my life. Otherwise, I would not talk to anybody unless I were dragged out to a party. My band is my social life, and Facebook is the way that I interact usually. And I heard about this thing called ladders, where you post a link to your page, and everybody else who knows about this ladder also posts a link to their page, and we all like each other's pages. So there's a lot of random new likes, and most of them are metal bands, and I would have nothing to do with them. But also I found out that there were like photographers and someone who owns this tutu company that creates tutus for little girls. And what what business do I have, being a fan of that? But I was friends with her on Facebook, and I started seeing things about her personal life. And there were things about her personal life that I thought were hilarious that she was sharing with us. So I started interacting, and we became good friends. And she happens to have this really interesting taste in music and opened me up to all kinds of genres. So it's just like kind of being open to who these people are, being very personable with them. It's interesting to me. I like people, even though I never get out. I like typing to people, maybe I should say. I think there are so many artists out there that I'm in awe of. I'm in awe of their talent. And for me to not go out to their shows would just be I'd be a hypocrite. And I feel like everybody has creative aspirations. Maybe they haven't thought about it as in-depth as us, or maybe they don't want to monetize it. But it's there, and it's definitely a form of some of the greatest conversations I've ever had. And I'm always searching for that great conversation. So for me, being in touch with everyone, regardless of whether they're an artist or not, I'm learning about the way that they live their lives, about what's important to them. And that's the kind of thing that I talk about in my music. So it's almost like research for that too. Yeah. Any questions? Any other questions?
We're a little short on time, I should probably move on.
Yeah. I actually have to go. Thank you.